I joined the fat acceptance movement around 2014, end of 2014, beginning of 2015. They were a lot more militant at that point. Also, they started censoring the word weight, obesity. They started calling it the O word. My name is Manal. I go by Manal Zain on YouTube and all my other social media. I usually do commentary. I also show and share my health journey mentally and physically. I joined the fat acceptance movement around 2014, end of 2014, beginning of 2015. I was going through a really rough time in my life. I got out of a very, very toxic and very abusive relationship. I was told all my life, you're fat, you're ugly, you're too tall. I was very broken. I was very hurt. I was just a damaged person. Food and eating would really take my mind away from a lot of problems that I would have or memories that would come back. I would just eat and kind of numb the pain, as crazy as that sounds, but it was really like a drug. It would take it away basically. I would just forget about it and basically eat more and more and more until my stomach hurt so much that it would hurt more than whatever I was thinking about. And I was looking for more positivity, and then I discovered the fat acceptance movement, or the hashtag #FYourBeautyStandards on Instagram, and I saw lots of women, being happy and proud of their big bodies and, showing positivity and promoting self-love, which I think is a great idea, and I think it's a great thing. I really liked it. I was enjoying everyone, with their great comments, and everyone was supporting each other. Even when someone would say, hey, I gained like 10 pounds over the holidays, but whatever, and then people would be like, eat queen, and these women are some of these women are much heavier than me, and a lot of them were much shorter than me, and they were living happily, and they would all say they're healthy, and I also had never had any problems. My tests always came back great. My blood tests, everything was always fine. I just had a little bit of iron deficiency, but other than that, I was fine. So I honestly believed them, so I was happy. Later, when I started joining Facebook groups, Facebook was more of a thing back then. I started seeing a lot more rules in the groups, such as, you're not allowed to share any progress pictures of yourself if you're trying to lose weight. Also, they started censoring the word weight, obesity. They started calling it the O word. As someone who actually can't help to be a minority, and I'm a brown woman, I'm a Muslim as well, and there's a lot of racism, a lot of discrimination going on for things that I can't help. I was born that way, and to put yourself, I feel like they were putting themselves on a similar level, censoring, and you can't post this and you can't post that. It was it wasn't a fat acceptance anymore. It was more of a dictatorship kind of, it was you can't say this, you can't say that. I was in the hospital. It was a very critical situation. I was in so much pain, and the doctor told me that, I have to have surgery. And it is very likely that it's because I was recklessly gaining more and more and more and more weight, and so much weight in such a short time that my body just couldn't take it anymore, and then I just couldn't believe that I did that to myself. And I had just had a baby, and I was just so shocked by the fact that I would do something like that to myself just because I wasn't ready or I wasn't brave enough to face whatever trauma I was that I went through. That really woke me up, and that really told me hey, wake up, get your shit together. You have a family that you're responsible for. And I just from one day to the other, I was like, oh no ma'am, I can't do this anymore. I was kind of lightly kicked out of the group because I had lost a little bit of weight, and I unintentionally lost weight, and then I literally got kicked out of one group just because I posted a picture. It wasn't even a progress picture, it was just a regular picture of me, and some people were saying, oh, you look much slimmer, what's going on, and stuff like that. And I just got kicked out of the group after some time, after I said, oh yeah, I've lost some weight, but it just happened. And then some people were saying, oh, that's not true, we have seen you post stuff at the gym, when I was literally being I was an au pair and I was taking kids to the gym and stuff like that. And then I got kicked out, and then I just didn't believe that I got kicked out because I unintentionally lost weight. And I was like, y'all are this is not real. I can't, I just found myself out of the group. I couldn't find the group anymore. I think it was blocked. It was just unreal.